2, 3. All right, good evening. My name is Ezra Robichaud, and today I'll be presenting my project. This is a touchy subject for a lot of people, but I chose it because it's something I'm very passionate about, and I think it's a message that doesn't get preached a lot in society, and it's becoming a bigger issue, and I think it's important to highlight that this is something we should overcome. So the first topic I want to talk to is what is love? Because the subject that I will be going over today is how pornography negatively affects love. I wrote my paper on how society negatively affects relationships, and so I wanted to focus on the love aspect of those relationships, because ultimately the main problem with pornography is how it affects the love in relationships. So what is love? It is an emotion. Sometimes it's really hard to describe what love exactly is, and that can be the difficult part in relationships. But first of all, most people see love as an emotion. It's sometimes it's a physical connection between two people, but usually it's generally described as an emotion. It's also an action. Some people, there's different love languages. Love is an action. It's only physical things that are done. It's getting groceries, filling up your spouse's car with gas. It's going outside of your comfort zone to say something to them, to do something for them. Some people, it doesn't matter what you say. It's only about what you do for them. And then some people believe that love might not actually exist. It's only a fantasy. This can be a result of heartbreak or a lack of love. But a lot of times love does not satisfy us or meet our expectations, and that is because of pornography. Okay, so we'll cut that out. We'll cut that part out. So after we describe what love is, what is pornography? So I really wanted to break down the subject so that we could find the root of the problem. Most people see pornography as a display of sexual material. It doesn't matter if it's a display. It can be a sound, it can be on paper, magazines. Most importantly today, it's found in videos. There's free websites anyone with the internet can access. This is a huge problem because we have children now of all ages from 5 years old and up who have access to the internet, and they can get access to pornography. This is a problem because there's no regulation, and a lot of parents aren't aware of how easy it is for children to have access to this material. What pornography ultimately is it's an impersonation of something that it's an impersonation of what love should be, and it redefines at a young age what people think love and what sex ultimately really is. The problem with this is children are now learning. They think pornography is what's going to teach them how to have sex and how to have romantic relationships with others. It is a substitute at its core for true love and what sex really should be, and it substitutes what we think and how we feel love really is. I used a picture of a race car bed because this is a substitute for young children who want to have a car, who want to go fast. They get race car beds because they can't actually have a car yet. Pornography, it's like your race car bed when you're a little kid. It's you think that's what it's really going to be like. It's what you think it should look like, how it should feel. This is fake. This is not a real car. But to someone who's never been in a car, someone who's never had sex, they think that's what it's really like. It looks, it feels, it's maybe fun and exciting, but that's not going to take you anywhere. That's not going to drive down the road. Pornography is the same way. It's not going to take you anywhere. It's not what it's really like, and it's only going to give you expectations that you'll never truly meet. Why does it not satisfy us? This is where pornography becomes an addiction. I used a picture of a drug addict with pills and needles to help us understand that this pornography epidemic in our country and in the world, it's a real issue, and it's not something to be taken lightly. The problem is we have dopamine receptors. These are parts of our brain that make us feel good, It's what makes us feel satisfied with working hard, doing homework, exercise, eating good food, just being healthy in general. These are designed in our brain to recognize those actions and emotions and make us actually feel good by putting a chemical and releasing that into our system. Pornography becomes an addiction because you always need more. And that's why there's so much pornography on the internet, is because every time you watch videos, you get some satisfaction from pornography, you always need more. There's always going to be another level, there's going to be another fantasy, there's going to be another way to relieve your stress through pornography. This is why there's such a huge access of material, because there's always going to be more, because the people producing it, they need to give you something more, or else you're going to get bored with them. And this is where it becomes an addiction, is the same videos, the same amount of pornography that you used to have, it's not going to arouse you or make you as satisfied as it would before, so you need more intense videos. This is where it becomes just like the example. There was a study done, scientists took rats and they put them in a cage, and they introduced a female rat ready to mate. These rats would mate with them and have sex. Every time the scientists would put in a new female rat, the male rats would have sex with them. They did this so many times. Every time they would put in a new female rat, the male rats would mate with them to the point where they'd be so exhausted they actually would kill themselves trying to have sex with the other rats. But when they would just put one female rat into the cage, they would just have sex with them and they would stop. This goes to show how our brains are very similar to rats, where we will keep watching videos, we will keep finding new ways to arouse ourselves with pornography until we're exhausted. And this is why it's an addiction. It is ultimately an attack on our delayed gratification, because pornography instantly makes our brains feel good. And the problem with this is that when you learn to play an instrument, when you learn to exercise, you put a lot of work into feeling good, and it takes months, years to reach a talent that is truly beautiful and amazing sometimes. Whereas pornography is an action where you can instantly make yourself feel good. There is actually a study done that shows they measure dopamine in your brain after certain activities, alcohol, sex, cocaine, exercise, eating, those all range differently. The sex and cocaine, those tend to be to 150 to 250 degrees above normal measurement of dopamine, whereas eating healthy foods, exercise is all 50 to 100. Pornography ranked up with cocaine over 200 measurable amounts of dopamine in your brain. So this means it is a very addictive substance and greatly affects your delayed gratification scale in your brain. And it's ultimately an attack on happiness. There have been a lot of studies done that show pornography consumption, as it grows, it has a negative effect on your mental health. It can make you feel very negative about your own body, and that's because you're watching these performers who are perfect. They are edited, their job is to be perfect. The females in pornography, very often in the videos, they're loud, they always want sex, they enjoy being degraded, and this is how we're raising young men and women in our society, is that women are objectified. They are only for sex, and during sex, they're always going to have a full orgasm, they're always going to enjoy it, and they're going to, in increasing videos, they enjoy being victims of violent behavior. Why does love and pornography not mix? This is where we start to see the relationships really suffering from pornography consumption. Their relationships are built on trust. Many relationships are not aware, or when they do become aware of their partner's pornography use, they are very insecure, they're very disappointed. It's something that's been hidden. Anything that's hidden in relationships is not healthy. You're supposed to be truthful, honest. Relationships are about two people learning about each other and becoming one. So when you find out something that's been hidden, it's going to negatively affect your relationship. 1 in 4, that is the statistic of American young adults who say that they learn and believe pornography is the best way to learn about sex. 1 in 4 adults in America think, young adults, these are people who are 16 to 18 years old from the study, they believe that watching porn is the best way to learn about their bodies and be educated. Violence. Because pornography always escalates, every study has shown that people who consume porn, they need more and more intense, drastic, violent videos to arouse them at the same level because it's an addiction. And this leads to a society that thinks that violent behavior is okay in relationships. This is one of my quotes from one of my favorite artists. It says, "Why do we try to protect our hearts? By pretending we don't have one." It's by Fora. Marco Anthony Archer is his real name. And he says that, and I feel that it relates a lot to the pornography epidemic we're facing, is people are violent now with sex. There's choking, there's slapping, there's spitting. This is not natural. That's not real love. What that is that's people thinking that's how they show love, because pornography has influenced our society to think that violence has a place in our hearts when we're having sex with other people, which some people, because of past trauma, that is something that arouses them and they enjoy that, but ultimately that should have no place in the bedroom. And so at the end of the day, if we can realize that pornography is an issue, there is a way to escape it, but the first step is you have to have a desire. You have to realize that it's a problem before you can actually do anything about it. This is one of the common steps with grief, with overcoming any obstacle, is and this is why it's such a trap, you have to realize that it's a trap and you're stuck in it before you can get out of it. It'd be great if everybody could just not watch pornography, but it's pushed by society as such a harmless, healthy, fun activity to relieve stress that many people end up becoming trapped in it before they realize it's a problem. So after you have a desire to fix it, there needs to be some sort of action you have to take. You can get websites, you can get them blocked on your phone, you can talk to someone, you can have an accountability partner, you can have somebody who checks in on you, talks about your problems. A lot of times, facing that issue is the first step, and talking to someone helps you realize that you can get out of it. You need to look into the future. A lot of the problems that people have with addiction is in the moment, they don't feel good, and they have a substance, they have an activity that will instantly make them feel better. And so I purchased this shirt. It says porn kills love. I want to start wearing it in public to hopefully help people create awareness that pornography is a problem. But what I was saying is you need to look into the future, and you need to say, okay, this will make me feel good right now, but in the future, I'm going to regret this, and I will be happier in the future if I don't do this right now. And you can talk to people, there are online forums, but ultimately, you need to learn to love yourself before you can kill pornography. Because just like pornography kills love, love is how you can kill porn. And then I have a quote. This is a picture of the rapper Fora. One of my favorite quotes from the same song. He says,